'Tis Thursday, September the 19th. I whipped my nose. I whipped my nose back and forth. I whipped my nose back and forth. And there's a dog upstairs. In case you hadn't heard. Yes. It is almost 4 p.m. As you can tell, it's not very bright out there. But my air is coming on, so that's good, I suppose. I have let the day get away from me. Haven't been asleep. Well, I did sleep in between regular work and second work. Not second breakfast. I did not have second breakfast. But I always have second work. Yay. Yay. So I did fall asleep and then slept more. And I was like, damn, sleep. Almost oversleepted, but I got home and shit. I ate. I've been dicking around on the internet. So yeah. Might be about to fall asleep. Maybe crash out, but it's Friday for me. So the weekend is a-coming. So I kind of want to go see Beetlejuice, but I don't know if I'm gonna accomplish that task or not. I'm sure, like, my theater here in town is still showing Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's still showing Twisters. I feel like those movies have been out for a little while anyway. I'm sure Beetlejuice is doing good enough that they're going to keep that for a while. Because it's like, I don't know. I'm just kind of ready to, like, take my pants off and give up for a few days. You know, it's like, plus it's going to be hot and rainy this weekend, and I'm like, I don't know. Ew. But, you know, just getting home from vacation, and it's like, now I've worked a couple days, and Minxie is itchy back there, but you know, I'm ready. I'm ready to just probably stay unconscious for about 48 hours. That's sounding pretty good to me. Just get home from Parks and Rec tomorrow, and take off my pants, and just give up. Just give up. Just become a bump on a log. Do abso-fucking-lutely not a goddamn thing. You know, if it hadn't been, you know, just getting back from a vacation, whatever, I probably would be a little bit more exuberant. I mean, I do want to go see it. I do want to see it. But I don't know if this is the weekend that I will accomplish that task or not. But we shall see. As it is. Let's find out what shitty question I have to answer today. What is something mythical that you think is real in some capacity? Ooh, that's actually an interesting question. I mean, I guess you gotta wade through the turds. What is a mythical? I mean, I guess it depends on what you think mythical is. What is something mythical that you think is real in some capacity? I mean, some people might say ghosts are mythical. Some people might say aliens are mythical. I guess when I think mythical, I think things like, you know, like fairies or unicorns or something like that, I guess. You know, I think fantasy, like dragons, you know, Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. So, I mean, I guess it's depending on what you see as mythical. Bigfoot, I'm not sure I believe in that, or like witches and, you know, and witchcraft. That could be maybe considered mythical, maybe in some way, shape, or form. I used to give Marilee crap the first time I heard her use the word cryptid, you know, and I was like, you made that up. That's not a real thing. I mean, even though I knew she was using the terminology from somewhere, you know, it wasn't like you just said Gotcherbup or something, you know, like, oh, I just made that up, and it's like a, you know, it's a word that people use all the time. But, you know, apparently there's all these cryptids, like, you know, like Bigfoot, or I think the Mothman. Are the black-eyed children, are they a cryptid, or are they just fucking creepy? I think they're just fucking creepy if you look them up. Or like, you know, woodland fairies and that kind of stuff. There's all these different things. I guess the hodag is up in Rylander, Wisconsin, is supposed to be some kind of cryptid or something. I'm sure Missouri has its own cryptids. You know, that could possibly be real. I don't know about, like, Bigfoot, because every video I've ever seen is just somebody in a fucking suit. Like, way back in the fucking trees. You know, like, come on. Fucking seriously. Fucking seriously. Or, like, all the ghosts that peek around the corner. You know, yeah. Or whatever. Like, oop. Oop. You know, seriously, come on. I mean, you know, I do believe in the paranormal, but whether or not that's mythical, I don't know if those would be considered the same, or, and I mean, I do believe in things like, you know, aliens and ghosts and the paranormal and that kind of thing. Skeptical believer, you know, I don't necessarily know for sure. But, you know, so I feel like it would be very close-minded of me to say things like Bigfoot and, like, witchcraft doesn't exist, but I don't know that I've seen as much, like, evidence of those, I guess. People can say, you know, they saw the Bigfoot, or, you know, I don't know, or saw a big old pile of shit, like Bigfoot shit or something, or like a big, you know, I don't know, I mean, there could be something to those. There could be things living in the forest that we don't know about. They're invisible to the naked eye, live in a different dimension and just pop through. I don't know that I've seen as much evidence. I mean, I guess, you know, people tell their story. People tell their ghost stories, their encounters with the paranormal, but they're telling it from, like, their perspective and how they, like, perceived the situation. So sometimes you can't maybe necessarily believe them, because it's like, you know, somebody who wants something to be paranormal is going to be like, you know, a glass moves and they're going to be like, oh my god, it's a ghost, instead of, like, I mean, sometimes when you set your glass down, if you set it down in, like, a ring of water, it'll scoot across the table. Like, that used to happen all the time at my uncle's restaurant. And he'd be like, oh, it's Mrs. Tabler, you know, I think he said it kind of as a joke, or, like, the door would pop open, and, oh, you know, Mrs. Tabler's coming in, blah, blah, blah. It's not just, it's an old building, it's a shitty door, and the wind blew it open. No, you know, or anything like that. You know, so, I mean, sometimes people will, like, I mean, you see it all the time on these. Like, I watch a girl called Hannah the Horrible, and she's one of those people that debunks these ghost videos. But people are on there, and, like, you'll go to the comment sections of these videos, and they'll be like, oh, that's a real, oh my god, I can't believe they caught a real ghost on camera. That's because they didn't. They fucking faked it for fucking views, and, like, all these people with these, like, you know, evolving storylines on their TikToks, and it's like, they're faking shit to keep you entertained, to keep you watching, to keep viewership up, to keep, you know, traffic coming into their channels. Does he call them channels on TikTok? I don't know. But, you know, but you hear a lot of people that seem very sincere about stories and things that happen to them and different things, you know, that they've seen and experienced. And it's like, I mean, you know, I'm not in these people's shoes. I guess I can't say that it, you know, wasn't real, but, you know, it's I mean, it's not like they're making a video about it and posting it, you know, for clout or anything. They're just telling you the story, you know. of the things that happen to them. You know, but I mean, there again, you talk to somebody who, you know, believes in Bigfoot and goes out and looks for it. You know, the stories of the things that they. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't know. Like, you encounter maybe like the scat. Is that what they call it? The dung, the poop, the shiitake, like, or like the big, you know, foot in the ground or whatever. Like crop circles. Didn't they figure out that was somebody like walking around with a plank or something and like making these designs and shit, and it's kind of, oh my god, it's aliens, and like, I don't know. I guess, you know, paranormal, you can't always see it. Sometimes you can, I guess, you know, like the stories they were telling us at the basin and at the Crescent over the weekend about, you know, seeing a person and then they just suddenly disappear. I don't know how often that happens, or if it like supposedly happened once and then the story just keeps getting passed down over and over again, like it happened to multiple people, only except for it happened to one person one time, you know, who may have been on something and seeing things that weren't really there. Like, oh my god, it's a ghost, but it's like, but I guess, you know, sometimes there's like multiple stories of different, you know, I think it was at the Crescent that was telling us the story of the one lady in the one room. Like, if she likes you, she will, you know, she'll pick up after you, she'll fold up your clothes and, you know, lay them on your bed and all this other stuff. But if she doesn't like you, like this told us this story of, you know, this couple that came to, I don't know if they were going to get married or if they were on their honeymoon or something. But they came to the Crescent and they had an argument. They were staying in that room. So they had this big blowout fight. And they both, you know, went their separate ways. They both left the room and went their separate ways. And when they came back, they couldn't get in the room. And the reason they could not get in the room is because all of their luggage had been, like, stacked up behind the door. And not only that, but their wedding attire had been crumpled up and thrown in the middle of the floor. So, I mean, there's multiple accounts of multiple instances of, you know, different things happening. You know, like when we went to the Elms, you might have had to been in a specific room for the lady, you know, you'd throw a penny, because Sean even tested it. That was one of the stories they told about, you know, throwing a penny in the corner, and someone, you know, would come and like, I think that was another thing that the lady at the Crescent would do. She'd stack your change for you, you know, in pennies and dimes and nickels and quarters and all this other stuff. But that was another thing at the Elms where, you know, people like would drop change or whatever, and then they'd find it later on the bed stand or the nightstand, whatever, the bedside table, whatever it is I'm trying to say. You know, and I mean, this is multiple stories from multiple people, apparently, you know, or seeing something at the edge of the bed or, you know, whatever. So I guess that's more of an encounter than, has anyone ever really, like, actually seen a Bigfoot, you know, or do they just see signs of a Bigfoot possibly in the area nearby? Like, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe some of these videos I see, these grainy, always fucking grainy ass fucking videos from very far away of this big hulking thing that's totally not a guy in a suit running around between the trees way off in the background. You know, like people would say like, oh my god, that's a real Bigfoot, but it's like, is it though? Is it though? I don't know. So I guess maybe that's my definition between like things like Bigfoot or fairy, supposed, you know, isn't there something that lives in the mines or something? I've heard something about something that lives in the mines, supposedly, through all these stories I've heard. But, you know, like the fairies that live in the forest and you know, Bigfoot, and, you know, I guess, is Bigfoot mythical, or are cryptids mythical? I don't know. I guess it depends on where you, you know, where you lump that word in with. So, but I feel like there's been more evidence, so to speak, or more, you know, more encounters. People have had more paranormal experiences than they've had, you know, a Bigfoot sighting or a fairy sighting or any of that sort of thing. you know, because some I've seen some of those videos like on Paranormal Caught on Camera, whatever, where it's a supposed like fairy on the Ring camera or whatever. I'm like, is it? Are you sure it's not just a bug, like in the light, like, or a spider crawling across the lens or something? You know, like, I don't know. So I feel like there's more like verified stories of instances of experiences with the paranormal than there is like experience with like an actual Bigfoot or fairy or gnome or whatever else, you know, that might happen to exist in the universe. But there again, I mean, I feel like I can't say I believe in one without saying that there's a possibility of the other. You know, like, maybe we just haven't seen it yet, found it yet. I mean, maybe interdimensional travel. I think that's a thing with Bigfoot, is that's why people have such a hard time finding him or seeing one, is they can like travel between dimensions, and I don't know. It's getting like very fringe. You know, like they have, or you know, I guess the MCU now has the multiverse. You know, Fringe did it first. I feel like Fringe didn't do it first. I'm sure someone did it before they did it. But you know, like, I don't know. But so I guess that's where I'm at. Is I don't necessarily know like witchcraft. I know someone in high school, like there was a couple of weird instances where they like binded. They didn't want to take a test or something, so they did some kind of spell, and like the teacher ended up forgetting about the test or something. So there's weird things, or like the tarot cards. I know someone who had no experience whatsoever with tarot or any of that sort of thing, or any sort of, I mean, maybe they were intuitive or something. Perhaps, I don't know. But they actually worked for one of those call lines. Basically, all you had to do at the time, I don't know if it was the Miss Cleo, the Miss Cleo line, but basically all you had to do was have a set of tarot cards. And it's like, I have two down here. I have the Labyrinth, and I have the Gummy Bear tarot cards that I collected just because. And the one that there was like a couple different stories of some weird stuff that came up, but the one that really sticks out to me was a guy called in to ask about his health, and she pulled the death card, and it's kind of oh ew. You know, so it's like, I mean, I don't know how much I believe in tarot, but it's like there was a couple of instances she said that it's like it was like the cards were actually like answering the question, you know. Like I said, for some reason that's the only one that sticks out in my mind is you know, somebody calling to ask about their health, and she pulls the death card, and it's like, ooh, how do you sell this one? Well, do you lie? And you're like, oh, it'll be fine. Or, I mean, you know, I guess death doesn't necessarily mean, I've heard that, you know, the death card doesn't necessarily mean like literal death. You know, it could, I mean, call in to ask about health, I don't know, you know, or a job opportunity or something. Like maybe one of your jobs is, you know, dying while another is coming to life. I don't know. An opportunity is dying. There's a change coming, you know. It's the death of something, you know, maybe the way that you normally live your life, you know. Maybe you're usually used to be able to eat cheeseburgers, and now because of your health, they're like, don't eat any more cheeseburgers. And then you're sad because, you know, no more cheeseburgers. That could happen to me someday. It's kind of like sad. Cheeseburgers are lovely, especially bacon cheeseburgers. Amazing. But so I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like I can say I don't feel like I can say I believe in one without saying there's the possibility of all this otherworldly, mythical enchilada. You know. So I don't know if that's an actual answer to the question or not. But there you go. That's the best I've got for you, and this is probably longer than it needs to be, but there we are. But anyway, So not a shitty question today. A little fun to maybe dissect that one. I still don't really know for sure. I mean, you know, mythical could mean different things to different people too, so it's like, yeah. I don't know. Makes these mythical. Myth-acute. Myth-cute. You're myth-cute. That's what you are. She's like, I fucking know it. You know, she fucking knows it. But anyway, that is that. Tomorrow's Friday. I know I've only worked a few days this week, but I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I don't wanna. I don't think I can do one more day. And then next week I gotta do all week. Such fucking bullshit. Oh my god. Maybe after I pass out for 48 hours, which is probably what's gonna happen this weekend. So as long as I don't miss the question, that's important. But anyway, other than that, you know, thanks for backing me up on that one. And I'll see you for when I see you.